Hey guys, it's Tony with CCxRC, and well, it was bound to happen. I just couldn't get enough air with my trucks and buggies, so I got an RC airplane. What do I know about them? Not much. Basically where I was at with RC cars just a year and a half, 2 years ago. So it's a completely new experience for me, and so I'm going at this not from the expert review angle. I'm going at this from the I've never flown an RC airplane. How do I do this, and how can I have some fun? So honestly, I wanted something cool. I wanted like a F4U Corsair, and I was pushed away from that. I went to Debbie's RC World here in Chesapeake, Virginia. Great guys there, and I talked with Brandon, and Brandon does some flying, and he actually had a model, this model, which is the Apprentice. This is the S15E. He had the 15E. The S has been added now that they've added the safe mode to this, which basically when you are out of control as a beginner, you flip this switch and it'll level it out for you and help you. It's not autopilot, it's kind of assisted flying. I was looking at a Hobby Zone. It was their Sportsman S Plus, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But it's a Hobby Zone model that does do autopilot. It'll just go in circles while you get out your iPhone and you learn how to land the plane that you just put up in the air as a beginner, not having ever landed one before. Or maybe you just need a Coke. I don't know. But it'll fly in circles on autopilot, but that also has a safe mode. But it also does assisted landing. It'll land the plane for you. It was very tempting. I was really intrigued by that. I also looked at the Fly Zone Sensei. But in the end, I listened to Brandon, and he seemed to think that this was the best plane for me moving forward, because I really don't want to stop here. This is a beginner or trainer plane, and so I got this so that I wouldn't destroy the plane that I actually want in the future. So I'm going to get in here. I'm going at this from the angle of a beginner, somebody who's never flown an RC plane before. I've flown a quadcopter, DJI Phantom, plus a SEMA 5C, and so it's completely different. I've tried the simulator for this. I have some simulator games for my iPhone. Completely different animal. So we'll get this out of the box. We'll start putting it together, and we'll take it out for a flight. All right, so we're going to go ahead and open up this box here, take a look at what's inside, and see what we have to do to put it together. All right, so once you figure out what is your actual plane and what is the actual container, we'll start being careful as we pull stuff out. So manuals here. Alright, do a little inspection, make sure it's all in good order. This one seems to be. Put it here. The other part of this wing. And one of the reasons that I went with the Apprentice, I should mention, is that I wanted the wingspan to be pretty big. So this is 59 inches, I believe, complete, and that will give me more stable flight in winds and things like that, so there's more times that I can actually fly it. Alright, so here's the main fuselage of the plane. You've got your on-off switch that'll be under the wing, and then down on the bottom is the battery compartment. And we'll have to take off this front nose in order to put on this front wheel. I looked at the instructions online ahead of time, so I've got a little bit of building to do. So it did come with a DC charger, so you can hook it up to your car when you're out in the field, car battery or whatever. It also came with a 3-cell LiPo 3200 mAh, and so it's a 20C battery. And I picked up one more of these, a Venom version. So this is the E-flite battery 3S, 3200 mAh, 20C discharge rate. And last but certainly not least is our transmitter. Alright, so the first trick is we've got to pop this cone off of the prop here, like so, which is going to reveal a nut. And so I've got to go get a tool for that. We'll take that off, pull this out, undo these screws, and then we'll be able to mount the front wheel of the landing gear in here. A little bit of overkill, but it was easy to get at. Alright, so here's our brushless motor. Alright, so as I'm getting this wheel out, I'll just point out, so here's the nose landing gear. But it also comes with these little plates that'll go over the wings as we put those together. That'll adhere with double-sided tape and help hold that all together. As well as rubber bands in here to actually hold the wing down onto the plane, so it'll strap onto these little points right here and across the wing, so that'll hold it down tight. Once you get the nose of the plane off of the fuselage here, you'll see you have a piece right here that has a screw on the front of it, and so you're going to want to loosen that screw. And your wheel here has a flat spot right on the front there. I don't know if you can see that. The flat spot. So we're going to put that so that the screw will go right into that flat spot. So make sure that we're lined up. There we go. Now we're all the way in there. And so then we'll just tighten this down on here. So front wheel is on. Now we're ready to reassemble. Actually, what will make it easier is I'm going to go ahead and install the back wheels. And this they couldn't have made any easier. You just give it a little squeeze and it'll pop right in there. There we go. So now I should have a level playing field. It's taking me way longer than it probably should need to. Got a prop on. Alright, starting to look more like a plane. And so next, we're going to install this, the 2 pins, right into the tail here, like so. We're going to have to slide it in underneath these, and then we'll put it down. A couple screws here. Go. Making sure not to over tighten. Alright, I'm going to pull these little tabs back to get the pin to go through. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the assembly of the wing. Making sure that our cables here to go to our servos for the ailerons here do not get stuck in, because we're going to need them to drop down into the fuselage to connect. So it's pretty much as simple as putting them together like so. And then you have your front and rear. They're different sizes, but they will match up to the indentations on the wing. So they have double-sided tape. We just peel this off and then we'll mount it into position. Alright, so that looks pretty good. So we'll now take off the tape here on the back side. in order to connect. And I didn't really show this up close on the rear tail wing, but I'll show you on this one. They've got these little rubber seals that'll hold this in place. So we're going to go ahead and get this aligned, push it through, and once we have it, then you slide this rubber band basically up to hold it in place, like so. And there we go. So that's one of them, and you do the same on the other. So our wing is now constructed and ready to mount on the plane. Now I'm not going to have enough room really in here to do this here, and make sure these are off, and we'll put it in place. Well, I said I wanted a big plane, and this kind of fits the bill. It should do well in the wind. The whole thing is made out of styrofoam, so it's easy to repair out in the field. I've got styrofoam glue that will not hurt the styrofoam. And then, yeah, so it's assembled. We'll take it out and we'll give it its first run, or I guess flight. I need to learn the new terminology. So let's go outside.